Whopper, 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 Whopper. Where the hell is my Whopper? Under my bed, under the feds, nowhere to be found. I've checked my house, I've checked my couch, I've even checked next to my spouse. I can't seem to find it anywhere. This is not a joke. Please send help.
Our subject to debate is animal experimentation. Yeah. Animal testing is intended to verify the safety of consumer health. There is a lot of controversy surrounding this issue, and that is why today my partners and me and I will be having a debate on the use of animals to test makeup. Hi, hello, my name is Misael, and today I will be the mediator of this debate. Where we will address the use of animal testing for a makeup creation or in animal experimentation in general. I will now introduce you to the teams that will be debating. I introduce to you the teams. The first one is formed by Monica, Jimena, and Richie. They are debating against animal testing. Yeah. And the other team who is a favor of the subject matter, Alexa and Isabel. Next, we will start the debate beginning with the team in favor. Let's go.
Animal experimentation has played a vital role in the most of the medical discoveries of the last decade. Animals and humans are very similar. We have the same organ system performing the same function in the more or less the same way. Animals suffer from diseases similar to humans, such as cancer, tuberculosis, and asthma. With no tag are very veterinary, Rishi has used animal experimentation. Although alternative methods to animals play an important role, the canons completely replace the using of animal experimentation. Many medicines for veterinary using are designed has chosen using be used humans, including antibiotics, analgesics, and tranquilizers, modern anesthetics, tetanus shocks, penicillin, and insulin have a release on animal testing for the development. Modern surgical techniques, including hip replacement, kidney transplant, hair transplant, and blood transfusion, have been perfect using animals. Animals experimentation has helped to develop business shoes has Alzheimer's, polio, tuberculosis, and recently humans papillomavirus, which is related to cervical cancer. The development of tomosine through animal experimentation has reduced the mortality related to breast cancer by 30% in the 1990s.
Today we talk animal experimentation research on cancer, Parkinson, Alzheimer, or diseases as harsh as ALS will remain stagnant. Opponents of animal experimentation say that there are alternatives to its use, such as cell culture, but that they are not used because they are more expensive.
We start with the second theme.
Animal experimentation has misled research for centuries, misleading our understanding of the human body and the disease that plague it. It not only takes limited resources away from valid science, but delaying innovation, therapies, and cures. You prolong sufferings and increase mortality. Experimenting on animals makes no sense because its results are not directly applicable to humans. They differ considerably in terms of anatomy, physiology, and metabolism. Even animals of different species can react very differently to chemicals and drugs. It is not possible to predict if a human will react in an identical way based on their results. At the same time, we share more than 96% of our genes with chimpanzees and at least 85% with mice. However, even if our genome large match that of face or even mice, this is not a mathematical equation in the sense that sharing common genes equals being identical. Human and animal genetic material is partially subject to completely different regulations. During the course of evolution, there have been drastic change and adjustments in this regard. Which changes are turned on or not, or how they influence each other is very different between humans and animals. Thus, the roughly 4% difference between the genetic material of humans and apes, chimpanzees, means that the latter cannot contract hepatitis B, malaria, or AIDS. Suppressing the experiments does not mean leaving the consumer helpless. The science that has been developed in the last few decades is much better using human skin cells, donating drug, ethical source, and reconstruct model of human skin and eyes.
There is no ethical dilemma. Animal suffering instead human suffering, but rather abundant scientific evidence that experiments on animals harm humans instead of good. Every human is an individual. Age, gender, background, or environment also play a role in how one reacts to certain substance. Not without reason, there are specialized areas in medicine, such as gynecology, pediatrics, and geriatrics. Due to the difference between humans and animals, several experiments show us that experimenting on test animals only gives us a 43% chance of finding side effects in humans. This means that it's safer to flip a coin. Many of the ethical issues raised by biomedical research relate to the use of non-human animals in laboratory experimentation. Frequently, those who sponsor or carry out traumatic or painful experiments with animals try to justify them with the argument that the results may benefit the health of some humans, as if it justified to cause any harm or suffering to an animal in order to obtain some benefit for a human. Of course, in many cases, not even that it's achieved, but what is the most serious in the non-scientific nature of the species prejudice on which the argument is based. The assumption that there is a great abyss between humans and animals, so that the former deserve absolute moral respect, while the latter do not, has nothing to do with the scientific vision of the world.
Every human being is an individual. That is why it's very common for a pharmaceutical drug to benefit one person and not another species. This test caused great suffering to the animals forced to endure them due to handling limitation of movement, forced ingestion, and the horrible effects of some chemicals. Animals suffer convulsions, paralysis, and death. Experimenting on animal is meaningless because its results are not directly applicable to humans.
Okay. We start with the points in favor of team 1.
Points in favor. Contribution to medicine. Animal experimentation has contributed to medicine and many aspects. Should has the development of drugs and vaccines and the under testing of human diseases. Point 2. Food safety. Animal experimentation has also been used to writing the safety of foods for human consumption, defecting toxics or dangerous substances. Point 3. Scientific research. Animal experimentation has been used in scientific research to better understand the biology and psychology of animals, as with the interaction of animals with the environment.
Animal testing contributes to life-saving cures and treatments. The California Biomedical Research Association states that nearly every medical breakthrough in the last 100 years has resulted directly from research using animals. Animal research has contributed to major advances in treating conditions such as breast cancer, brain injury, childhood leukemia, cystic fibrosis, multiple sclerosis, tuberculosis, and more, and was instrumental in the development of pacemakers, cardiac valve sustains, and anesthetics. Animal testing is crucial to ensure that vaccines are safe. Scientific racing to develop a vaccine for coronavirus during the 2020 global pandemic need to test on genetically modified mice to ensure that the vaccine doesn't make the virus worse. There is not the adequate alternative to testing on a living whole body systems. A living system, human beings and animals are extremely complex. Stirring cell cultures in a petri dish with something useful does not provide the opportunity to study interrelated processes occurring in the central nervous system, endocrine system, and immune systems. Evaluating a drug for side effects require a circulatory system to carry the medicine to different organs. Conditions such as blindness and high blood pressure cannot be studied in tissue cultures. Even the most powerful supercomputers are unable to accurately simulate the workings of the human brains.
Okay, very nice. We start with the second theme that will feel the opposing points.
Okay, point number 1. Animal testing is unethical. Animals are living beings that have the right to live without being subject to cruel and inhuman treatment. Animal testing is not always accurate. The anatomy or psychology of animals are different from humans, and therefore, the result of animal testing may not always be reliable. There are alternatives to animal testing. There are several alternative methods that can be used instead of animal testing, such as computer models, cell cultures, and human volunteers.
Animal testing is expensive. Animal testing is a costly process that requires a lot of resources, including money, time, and personnel. Animal testing can be replaced with human-based research. Human-based research is more accurate and reliable than animal testing, and it can provide better results. Animal testing can cause severe pain and suffering. The animals used in experiment can experience pain, distress, and suffering, which can be traumatic and long-lasting.
Animal testing is not always necessary. Many products and drugs that are tested on animals have already been tested and approved for use in humans, and therefore animal testing is not always necessary. Animal testing is not always regulated. In some cases, is conducted without proper regulation, which can lead to abuse and violations of animal welfare. Animal testing can harm the environment, can result in the release of harmful chemicals and toxins into the environment, which can harm wildlife and ecosystems. Animal testing is cruel. Ultimately, animal testing is a cruel and inhumane practice that is not necessary in modern society. We should strive to find better ways to test products and drugs that do not involve harming innocent animals.
Okay, we finished with the debate. The points of each teams are very good, but the time is over. We end with the debate. Yeah. Bye.